Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So it's another bishop openings video which I am going to present. It's also an old game, but it has the relevance in the today's new era. So the game continues. E4, E5, bishop to C4. That's why I call it bishop opening. Knight F6, D3, C6. Then knight f3, all are developing their pieces. Now d5, as I have told you previously, okay, we should not capture with the pawn, okay, like e into d5 should not be played. You retreat your bishop to b3. I hope now you have learned after watching so many videos. Then we're developing bishop to d6. Now white develops the knight to c3. Now d into e5, okay, d into e5. Now the critical moment starts. Now what you can do is either you can capture this pawn, okay, like d into e4 you can play, or knight to g5, okay. There are two options. Now first of all I'll show you what happens if a knight into d into e4, okay, d into e4. If you play d into e4, then black will have the upper hand, okay. The black position will be much more better in developing, in attacking, everything it will be better, okay. How it will be like this: first of all he will develop his knight to a6, then bishop to g5, h6, okay, bishop takes knight, queen takes bishop, now h3, okay, stopping this bishop to come here, okay, or else the castling will be broken, okay. That's it for stopping it. Now the game continues. C5, okay. Now this bishop, black wants to capture this bishop also. It is in central square, attacking the e4 pawn. Now white played castling, okay? White plays castling. Now it's a black turn. Now you see that attacking the king side after castle, then now you have to push the pawns because black has the chance of doing a long castle. Then the rook will be in the open file. That's why he's pushing this pawn. So in order to, so that the in order to stop it, actually it cannot, white cannot stop it. Mm, White has played knight to d2, then h5, okay, h5. Now you see why he has played knight here, because it wants that so that the queen plays on f3 and it exchange, okay. Then after exchanging of the queens, what will happen, the attacking power will get less, okay. If you have queen on the board, then attacking intensity is more than not having the queen on the board, okay. I hope you got it. Now after h5 and queen to f3, now what do you think? Should black like exchange? Of course not, right? Because black is having so upper hand, so black wants to keep the queen. You see that this is the position now black has reached, and it's completely dominating position for the black, okay. This bishop is a good bishop, okay, this bishop is a good bishop. Now black will eliminate this one, then he will do the castle and just push it bishop. There are many opportunities, many options for the black, okay. But in real game it continues like uh, you see. So I have told that d takes e4 is not a good option for the white. So white has played knight to g5, okay, knight to g5. Now you see this pawn is attacked, also this knight is attacking this f7 square, okay, f7 square, keeping much more pressure. So now castling is much more recommended. Now c take knight c into e4, okay, this knight capturing because this knight has no more much options here, so it wants to exchange, then it can exchange here or here, okay. Then white knight has multiple options. Then knight to e4, then again knight to e4. Now you see that again, you see if white captures with this pawn d into e4, then what will happen, okay. Let's see what will happen. D into e4, bishop before check, okay. Now you see that there are many tactics, okay. Here many tactics are there. Now you have to prevent this check. Either you can push the pawn on c3 or keep the bishop on d2. If we push the pawn on c3, then that's also okay, that's also okay. But then I will just push my knight, bishop on c5, then it will also have much more attacking chances, okay. Also you see everything is developing, okay. Or we can play like bishop to d2, okay, bishop to d2. Now what do you think? What should black play? Should he just do an exchange? Okay, do an exchange like this, or any other better plan for black? Take your time and think. Any better plan for black? Here, black has played queen into g5. Queen into g5. Now you see this bishop is pinned. It cannot capture the queen because you see this bishop is pinned. Now bishop takes b4. Okay, getting the free bishop. Now queen into g2. Now you see rook is under attack. Only one square left for rook. Rook to f1. Now bishop to h3. Then you see now this rook is attacked twice. Okay, attacked twice. Now you only you have to save this rook, right? So queen to e2. Then now you have to stop this king from castling on the long side. Okay, stop this king. Rook to d8. Okay, now you see again black is having the upper hand. Okay, black is having the upper hand. These pawns are so very strong in the end game. Also, this knight will come here, attack this, and then many options. Hmm, here, one thing I can say, if it plays like this. Okay, for example, this is the position. Black plays a random move like this. Okay, then what do you think? White plays bishop to a3. What do you think? What should black play? Black will play rook to d2. Okay, rook to d2. If queen captures, then it's a mate. Okay, I hope you are getting the variation. After reaching this position, then black is simply winning. It's not so much difficult. Okay, in real game, it was played rather than capturing with the d into e4. In real game, it was played knight into e4. Okay, then game continues. Bishop to e7. Bishop to e7. Now in real game, white has played castling. Okay, white has played castling, but the best option for white was to develop this queen. Okay, develop this queen. Why developing this queen? It is not only preventing this bishop to develop here on the f5 square. Also, you see there are many threats. Okay, there are many threats. Okay, if it is goes like this, then you see the variations. Okay, if you are in a white position, I would say that you should prefer playing the queen to h5 rather than castling, because you are on the upper hand now. You see all the pieces are almost developed. This bishop is also developed at once. You just need one rook. If you get a rook, then it's completely devastating for black. So here, if the game continues, if white has played queen to h5, then let me show you. Then what will think? What do you think? What should black play? Like develop his pieces, right? Knight to d7. Then white plays castling because white needs this rook. Okay, this rook. Game continues. Queen to e7. Bishop to g5. Now he wants to exchange. Okay, he wants to exchange this bishop into bishop. So black bishop into g5, queen into g5. Now b6. Okay, knight to b6. Now you see that okay, I am having all the pieces developed. Okay, I am having all the pieces developed. Everything can come. Hmm. And also you need to activate this rook. Okay, this rook in this file, targeting this f7 pawn. Okay, after knight to b6, f4. Okay, now you have to exchange and put the rook on the f file. E into f4, rook into f4. Now you see there are two options. Either you can play bishop to here on d7 or knight to d5. These are the two options you have. Okay, I will say you both. Okay, I'll say you both. You need to have a clear understanding of how the game goes. Okay, even if this type of position comes in any other game, like you are playing with your opponent, you might get some ideas. So first of all, let's start with what will happen if knight to d7. Okay, knight to d7. Knight to d7. Then you see the game continues. Knight to f6 check. King h8. Now you don't capture this bishop. Okay, no need to capture because this knight is supreme. Now you have to give a mate. Okay, you have to give a mate. A6. Now black has to prevent this mate, or else the rook will capture. It will be a mate. It can capture like this. Okay, yeah, it can capture like this. But after capturing, the queen will be played here. Okay, now this mate cannot be stopped. This mate cannot be stopped. Okay, so rather than capturing, black has played h6. Okay, now rook takes h6, g takes h6, queen into h6 mate. Simple, right? Okay, I hope you got this point. If you are not, you uh, scroll back and again you watch the mating pattern. Okay, so this was the position. So bishop to d7 is not a good idea. So rather than, what if knight to d5? Okay, knight to d5. What will happen? First of all, this knight is strong. Okay, this knight is very strong, and also this knight is attacking this. Also, you see this knight is preventing my bishop. Okay, so first of all, let's eliminate this knight. Okay, now you can give a check. Knight to f6. Only move king to h8. Now knight into d5. Now you're getting an extra pawn, also attacking the queen. Now you see uh, queen into c2. Okay, queen into c2. Okay, I don't think there is any other much more good option rather than queen into c2. Okay, no such good option. So queen into c2, black has played. Now rook takes f7. Rook takes f7. If rook takes, black plays rook into f7, then queen d8. Okay, then it will be a back rank mate. Okay, queen d8, it will be a back rank mate. So my rook to g8. No, knight e7. Simple. Okay, simple. Nothing complex. It's an easy win. Okay, for the easy win. In real game, okay, in real game, rather than white playing to queen to h5, white has preferred playing castling. Okay, white has preferred playing castling. So the game continues. Now black has played queen to h8. Now white has played queen to h5. Okay, now f6. Okay, f6. Now he needs this pawn structure. Okay, also it is preventing the knight to come in. So we have to break the pawn chain. Now g6, attacking the queen. Okay, the idea remains the same. Okay, the idea remains the same, but the queen is attacked. So queen h6, e takes f4, bishop into f4. Now activating the bishop. Okay, now knight a6. Okay, now knight a6, because all the pieces need to get developed. Okay, g5, knight to g5. That's a brilliant move. Okay, that's a brilliant move. Knight to g5. If pawn captures, then it's a mate. Okay, I'll show you the pattern how it's getting made. Now black has two options: either to give a check, okay, either to give a check, then reassess the position, or to capture the knight directly. If knight is not captured, then it's a mate here. Okay, the mate threat is there. So I'll show you first. If queen plays on d4, okay, check, queen d4 check, king to h1, f into g5. Now you see f into g5. Now capturing the knight. Bishop to e5 check. Only move left, right? Now queen is also attacked, so queen has to capture. Queen into e5. Now rook into f8, bishop into f8, queen into f8, mate. Simple, right? Simple. So in real game, okay, in real game, it was played f into g5. Okay, I have shown you what will happen. Then queen to d4 check. Now in real game, f into g5 is also losing for the black. Okay, now you see in this position, how can you say that also losing for the black? mm, Not getting the idea, right? Because it's a very critical moment here. Okay, very critical moment. So here black has white has played bishop to e5 check. Now you can prevent with the bishop or the rook, anything you can. Okay, now in real game, black has played rook to is f6. So rook takes f6, bishop takes f6, queen into g5. Okay, queen into g5. Okay, queen into g5. Now another rook will come and this bishop is lost. Okay, to g5. Now you see that black has two options, either to give a check and then again reassess the pieces, or save the bishop with the king. Okay, then two powers is to two powers. We cannot capture. Then we have to bring the other. You have to bring the other rook here. Then you can attack. First of all, I'll show you what happens if queen to b6. Then first of all, check is given. Okay, check is given. Now you see that bishop cannot capture the queen. Okay, bishop cannot capture the queen because it is pinned already. Okay, so it's good to retreat back. What happens if it captures? Then I will capture. It's a mate. Okay, if bishop into e5, then queen into e5 mate. So here black has paired bishop to g7. Now queen to e7. Now you see there are two threats. Here is one mate threat. Here is one mate threat. So it cannot be prevented. Okay. So here in real game, black has preferred playing king to g7. Then we have to bring the other piece, rook to f1, rook to f1. Now again black has two options, either to give a check and reassess the pieces, or push the pawn and attack the queen. Okay. Black wants to exchange the queen, remember, because white attack is supreme. If it gets exchanged, then white will lose the intensity of the attack. So black's intention should always be that to exchange the queens. So in this position, if black would choose to play here, then it will be like that. Check is given. So king to h1. Now bishop into e5. Okay, bishop into e5. Now you see that if I capture, then it's not a mate. Okay, it's not a mate. It's not a mate. Okay, it's not a mate because now black has the option to retreat from here. So before, so you see this queen is preventing these two squares. So first of all, rook f7 check. Then king to g8. Now you see now discovered check. If the king goes here, okay, if the king goes here, then the check would come and it's a mate. So now you see that the bishop is already having the discovered attack tendency. So rook to d7 check. So only move king to f8, queen to e7 mate. Okay, this was the idea. So I have shown you what would happen if queen to b6. In real game, it was played pawn to h6. Pawn to h6. Now queen is under attack. Okay, we cannot capture the bishop. Okay, if we cannot capture the bishop, the queen will capture. Then if you capture, then you almost you can say that okay, why don't we capture with the bishop? Okay, why don't we capture with the bishop? Yeah, that's correct. That's what white has played. Bishop into f6 check, king to h7. Now, if we capture the queen, okay, they will capture our queen. Okay, then again it's a draw position, and it's a hard, not a hard to win, but yeah, why should go on this position? So better keeping our queen safe. Queen to e3. Now they have to move their queen. Queen to f8. Now you see that the attack is so strong. These pieces are not developed properly, and all our pieces are developed. Okay, all our pieces are developed. Now, what would black play rather than here? What would play here? What would play? Nothing so much serious, right? So, if black plays f8, again attack the queen. Now you see this king is very vulnerable to attack. Okay, okay. Remember there are many patterns of checkmating. So bishop p7, queen to e7, rook f8. Okay, rook f8. You see here is mate is there. Okay, here mate will be there. If it comes here, then it will be mate here. Okay, one move, queen to d7. You see, rook g8, king g7, 25 mate. So this is another bishop's opening. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you soon. Bye.